Hi there guys, how are we all doing? My name is Tim and welcome to a slightly different video on the channel this week. Now, everybody who's been watching the channel for a little while knows that occasionally I have to throw in a video which is not kind of opening cards and things like that. My budget doesn't allow for me to be buying cards all of the time and kind of spent my money on Infinite Forbidden this month. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I still put out content for you. So today we are going to be looking into something completely different. So you're going to get a little bit of back history into me, I suppose, today. You're going to get a little bit of a look into my life and what collecting cards has done for me, because I always wanted, YouTube's always been an avenue for me of escapism. So I've watched YouTube content and content creators for years and years and years in order to try and escape the real world that's out there. And I always said that if I was to create a YouTube channel, then I want to create somewhere where people can escape, and then typically I'm going to release a video where people are not escaping. I always wanted to create a YouTube channel where people were escaping, to give them an avenue for something in their life that is, you know, maybe not where, you know, if they're a little bit down on their life, then they've got somewhere that they can go. So I wanted to create a YouTube channel. I've done multiple YouTube channels throughout my life, and to be honest, this has been the most successful one. So thank you very much, everybody, for doing that. But I have anxiety and I have depression. I have generalized anxiety disorder, and I have clinical depression. And I have been diagnosed with them when I was 18 years old, 17 years old. 18 years old I was diagnosed. I'm pretty sure I had it when I was 17 and just took a while to get that diagnosis, you know, pluck up the courage to go and get that diagnosis. And I'm now coming up to 34. That's like half of my life has been dictated by these conditions. And collecting cards has been a fantastic avenue for me to be able to remove myself from those conditions a little bit. So I wanted to explain to you how I use trading cards in order to sort of move past my mental health issues, and how they help me out in the grand course of things, and then also give you some advice on things to watch out for when it comes to trading cards as well, because honestly, it's a bit of a minefield. It's a bit of a minefield when it comes to things like this and mental health, and people don't necessarily realise. But I'm going to cover the positives first. So, as everybody knows on the channel, I collect Pokemon cards and I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd love to learn how to play the Pokemon TCG. Unfortunately, the Pokemon TCG live app just drains my phone battery far too much, and I don't want to use it. But yeah, I actually do want to learn how to pick up the Pokemon TCG to be able to play it in the future, because there's several avenues in which you can go down with cards, and collecting is just one of them, and obviously playing is another one. So something that you need to do when you've got mental health problems like myself is you need to find some way of breaking your routine. So I get into a routine where I can just stick YouTube on as that bit of escapism, but then I can sit and just watch YouTube without watching YouTube particularly for 6 hours without particularly doing anything of any production whatsoever. Now, productiveness is it's not a thing that you can really measure as such, because everybody's got their own idea as to what productive is. Now, my idea of productive is obviously doing the housework and going to work and stuff like that, but it is also messing around with these bad boys back here, which allows me to still feel like I'm being productive within my life, even though for some people out there who don't collect cards or anything like that, maybe it's not so productive. So for me, that helps me feel a sense of fulfillment. By working with these cards and doing little bits and pieces here and there, I get to give myself something to break that monotony. I also get to get up off the sofa and come and sit down at this table in order to do things. So let's start with Yu-Gi-Oh! Really, and just like playing a card game. So the differences between collecting and playing are massive. What playing Yu-Gi-Oh helps me to do is I spend time most days looking up cards as to what might go well in decks, what decks I would like to build, thinking about deck profiles and things like that. Going onto YouTube and looking through like Dark Arm Duelist and a variety of other content creators out there to see what they're playing with regards to that deck. Keeping up to date with what cards are being released and things like that. I spend a lot of time doing that. I'm not a very good player of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't claim to ever be a very good player of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I look up all of these things and it allows me to spend time doing these stuff. And then you have to spend time learning how to do the combos. You have to spend time actually collecting the cards. You've got to learn different ways of playing the deck in case you get hand trapped in different ways and things like that. There's so much that you have to learn when it comes to playing the game that's not even actually playing a physical game with somebody. And then of course you've got Master Duel, which you can play on the go. You can just jump into a game whenever you want and play it there and then. And then you've actually got the physical playing of the game. So playing the game is a social aspect. As I have depression and anxiety, social things are difficult for me. They are. I've got a very small group of friends that I don't really go outside of that group of friends all that much. And you know, the fact that I am friends with Antonio over at Sons of Russell, and we live pretty close by, and you can come around my house so that we can play a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh here and there. That's a social aspect. It's something that we can say, look, do you want to come over and play some Yu-Gi-Oh? Rather than, do you want to come over? I don't know what I'm going to do. Which then becomes something that I will back out of because I haven't got a firm plan as to what we're doing. Come over, let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh. Great. And I've got a few friends that I can play Yu-Gi-Oh with. And then on the days where I kind of have to build myself up to it, but you know, when locals happens and things like that, and I'm available to go to it, I will go to locals and I meet new people and find people who enjoy the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I will play with them, and it's a night out for me. I don't go to the pub, I don't do things that generally a lot of people do. So those nights out to be around other people who enjoy trading cards and things like that, they're really cool. They're really good for me because it's actually an avenue for me to be able to go out and do something. Whereas collecting the cards is a little bit different. So I collect Pokemon cards, and I have done for a long time, off and on. I've got stuff from base set in my collection from when I first collected cards, and I've jumped in here and there, and now I'm back really collecting stuff during the Scarlet and Violet era. And yeah, collecting cards has just got different things. So obviously opening packs of cards has got that feel-good factor to it. There's a thrill to opening packs of cards, which makes me happy and want to, you know, get more of that. And especially when you pull a good card. Like I pulled that Charizard from Paldean Fates, the SIR Charizard, and it just popped off, and that feeling was huge, and I was shaking afterwards, and yeah, it was crazy how that feeling was. You can kind of live for that a little bit. It's fantastic to feel that way. It's also a little bit addictive, which we'll get onto later on. But there's other things that I can do with collecting cards. So parts of my month is like when I buy my single cards and I'm shopping through eBay or wherever I'm buying cards from, and I'm shopping through those websites and I'm checking to see prices and things like that and going through everything. That all takes time, and again, that's time where my brain's being activated, doing something. I've got so many different lists around. Like, you've got books back here where I've just listed, I've got one book for Yu-Gi-Oh, one book for Pokemon. I've got lists of cards that I want, lists of deck profiles and things like that that I want to build. So that I can, It's something that I can do. 20 minutes, break me out of that routine. I'm sitting on the sofa and I need to do something. Let's go make a list. Grab my book, come and sit away from the sofa, come and sit at the table and make a list of things that I want to do. And I don't know, I love lists. I don't know, that's just me. But I do love making lists of these things. And then I found other ways that we can incorporate things to do into a kind of a creative side, I guess. I don't know, it's not really a creative side. So I've grabbed here my Scarlet and Violet binder, so from the current era. So what I've been doing recently, let's get to a page where I've actually got one on there. So yeah, I've been making out these little cards for the cards that I need on there. So yeah, I've been through this binder and I've been through the first four collections of the Scarlet and Violet era, and I've gone through and I've put down all the cards that I need on these little pieces of card, and I've cut them out and I've put them all in, and I've let all the ink dry and everything so that I can put them into the binders. And it just gives me, again, something that I can do that is not, you know, it's not just sitting around doing nothing. And that's really important for, you know, keeping my brain activated. So I'm currently now working my way through temporal forces. No, I'm not. Paradox Rift I'm currently going through in order to get all of those cards onto a piece of card so I know exactly what I need. And then not only does it make it easier for me collecting the cards and know exactly what I need in those binders, but it's something that, again, 20 minutes out of my day I can take away from just watching telly or just vegetating on the sofa and do that. And I don't need to spend a massive amount of time on it. I've been doing these cards now for a couple of months, just bits at a time, 10-20 minutes a day. And it just allows me to just break that monotony, which is really important for just keeping this brain active. So given half a chance, I will just sit and do nothing. So this kind of gives me something that I can enjoy, that I can do this with. Also, for me, and I don't know about anybody else out there, but these binders and collecting cards and things like that, there's nothing more relaxing in my life than collecting these binders and going through them, sleeving all of the cards up, placing them in the binders and things like that. There's nothing more relaxing to me. I absolutely love doing that. That's why when I'm doing taking all the mythical Pokemon, if I buy a Mew, I've got to take 150 mythical Pokemon out of that binder in order to slot that Mew in. I don't mind doing it because it's nice and relaxing. It's easy for me. It's easy for my brain to just slip into that, put a little bit of music on and just go through these binders and relax and chill. Nothing chills me out more than that sort of thing. However, like I say, there are a few sort of things that you need to watch out for when you're doing this sort of stuff. So you've got to have certain things that you can tell yourself and remind yourself, because speaking from personal experience, but I know that a lot of people who have depression and anxiety have told me these sorts of things. So I've always been open about my depression. Have told me these sorts of things before. It's very easy to become obsessed with things. It's very easy to, you know, I've found something that helps, so therefore I will do it all of the time. And that can lead you down a worrying road. I've got a very addictive personality. I can become addicted to something very easily. And this, I've actually collected loads of different things. I've collected Blu-rays before I realised that they're just going out of fashion. At one point I collected CDs and then Spotify happened. Trading cards, obviously. So I've got a fair few things that I've collected over the years, and it doesn't become about the enjoyment of doing it. So you have to make sure that you're finding things to do that's beyond just having these cards in the house. So finding that little creative side in order to do that. And I will sit and I'll look at these binders. Again, breaks up the monotony, 10 minutes looking through a binder, and then I can go and look at another one at another time when I'm feeling down. So that addictive side of me knows that I could go mad with the things that I was buying. I could really go out and just keep spending money and keep getting packs of cards over and over and over again. Next thing you know, I'm in financial trouble. You've got to make sure that you stay grounded with what you're buying, because everybody's got their own financial constraints and things like that. Everybody's got things that they need to do. This is why I'm doing this video, so that I avoid those financial constraints. But you know, if you put yourself into danger because of it, that's a problem, and it's just as addictive as other hobbies which can spend a lot of money on. So you've got to be really careful with that. You've also got to be aware of the fact that you're not going to be able to collect everything out there. I've got these binders for all of the current sets that are out. I bought the Voltex specific ones for all of them, all the way through up until Twilight Masquerade. I will be getting Stellar Crown when that comes out as well. So I've got these binders. I love these binders. I think they're beautiful, and I put the set in there in full, in order, whether I've got the full collection or not. Realistically, I'm not going to get the full collection of all of these sets that I'm currently collecting. It's not going to happen because I'm collecting too much. I'm collecting a lot. But I've told myself that with these collections, I don't care if I've got the full set or not. What I actually enjoy doing is my Pokemon collections, so my Espeon, my Houndour, my Growlithe collections, and my mythical Pokemon collections. That's actually more important to me, working towards completing those. But again, there's some of those I will never complete. I will most likely in my life never own a Pop Series 5 Espeon, because it's far too much money. It's a really expensive card. So I've got to tell myself, there is a limit to it. There is a limit to it. And it's easy when you are collecting things, if you don't get something, you then feel like a failure. And you can't be having that whilst you've got mental health issues. So make sure that you're not considering yourself a failure just because you haven't got a complete set collection of Scarlet and Violet base set, or Paldea Evolved, or Obsidian Flames, or whatever it is that you're collecting. Now you can use this as an inverse. So for example, Shrouded Fable's not long come out. There's only 99 cards in that set. That's a nice easy one to complete, and the endorphins that would release in your brain when you've completed that would be fantastic. I need 3 more cards for my Team Rocket collection. It's the only set which I am actually actively wanting to complete. I haven't been able to this year, but I am going to be hopefully within the next sort of 18 months or so completing that set. 3 more cards: Dark Alakazam, Dark Blastoise, Dark Charizard. That's all I need. And yeah, so that will be like a real adrenaline rush, particularly because I started collecting that when I was a kid. I started collecting that when I was in school. Some of those cards I took to the playground with me. That'll be an amazing set to complete for me. So set yourself those little goals as to things that you want to do. Every month I come up with a list again. I come up with a list of things that I want to buy, and I hit that goal. And sometimes I forget to hit that goal. Deoxys a couple of months ago, where I get every mythical to 6 cards in the binder. I forgot Deoxys. So yeah, I felt a bit rubbish after that one. But like, you hit those goals. So I've already got my goals for next month planned out, and I'm like 10 days removed from payday at the moment. So yeah, I'm working towards something. I'm always working towards something, and that's kind of the main thing that TCG can do for you, as well as just, I don't know, just providing some relaxation. I love this hobby. I truly do love this hobby, and I wanted to share these things with you today just because I think that it's important. And like I say, YouTube's been there for me in the past. I'd like to be there for people on YouTube. So yeah, you might not have watched any of this video, and I might have been talking nonsense to myself for the past 20 minutes, but all of those things I think are important things to keep in consideration whilst you are collecting. So don't go putting yourself in financial difficulty. Don't expect to be able to collect absolutely everything. We're not all real breaking net. And don't put too much on yourself, I suppose. Like, find something that you enjoy and collect it, and ignore anybody else that says otherwise to collecting that. So whatever your collection is, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, Lorcana, it could be records, it could be all sorts, you know, stamps, coins, it doesn't matter. I fully suggest collecting something in your life, because honestly, these little pieces of cardboard, they've changed my life. They have changed my life. And now that I've also got the YouTube, which is doing really well so far, you know, it's something else that I can add into things and add into my day. So now I've got to spend time editing this video, getting the thumbnail sorted, uploading it onto the YouTube with the description and everything like that. All of that stuff just takes time out of my day, where again, I'm not just vegetating on the sofa. So yeah, it's all about finding things to occupy your mind, and trading cards for me is the way forward. It's the one thing that I can do. No matter how I'm feeling, I can come and look at these Pokemon cards and be happy with myself. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this little talk. I hope that it has helped some people out there. Please do subscribe down below, talk to me. The avenues for talking, like, this is a safe zone for talking. Come and speak to me, and I would love to hear your story and what trading cards has done for you, because honestly, I'd be really interested to follow up on what other people do as well, and see where we can go. I've got more ideas for things in the future to do, and hopefully I can follow through with some things. So yeah, thank you very much everybody who has supported the channel so far. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel, it'll help me out loads. And yeah, thank you so much everybody who has been watching videos recently. I truly do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.